Hello, students. Well, we are in the home stretch. Module 9, the course is ending this week. Let's recap your discussions from Module 8. These were definitely an improvement on the Module 7 discussions, so I do appreciate that. We had three documents from the Truman era, all of which were surprising, I think, in different ways. First, Truman's inaugural address from 1949, I think surprised all of you in a sense with how strongly it's anchored in a discussion of God and faith. It's certainly not something we're used to hearing from presidents nowadays as much, although I think even presidents in recent years have also invoked God in their speeches. But Truman's speech is totally saturated with discussions of religion. And why was that? Well, again, it partly had to do with the Cold War. I'm sure it also had to do with sincere religious faith on his part. But again, talking about religion and the defense of religion was a good way for the United States to set itself apart from the Soviet Union during the Cold War, because the Soviet Union was officially atheistic and did persecute religious believers. And so Truman's speech is an attempt to claim for the United States the mantle of defender of religion in the world, and as such, it's a very effective piece of Cold War rhetoric. Group 2, you had a very important document called NSC 68. It's a document produced by the National Security Council talking about strategy for the Cold War. And again, here too, you see that very stark contrast between the free world, which is seen as healthy, open, free, creative, encouraging people to be individuals, and the communist world, which this document sees as bent on world domination, as having as its goal to eliminate freedom, because freedom poses a threat to its unlimited dictatorship over its people. But the thing I think that's most striking about this document, and you really hit it right on the head, is the fact that it actually states that the U.S. should be ready not just to defend itself from the Soviets, but to even take offensive action. So really what they're envisioning is the possibility that the U.S. might strike first with its nuclear weapons against the Soviets, and suggesting that that could be necessary. And that was something new. I think in the United States, we normally think of ourselves as peaceful people who only fight when we're attacked, like at Pearl Harbor. But in the Cold War, feelings against the Soviets ran so strong that we were even capable of thinking of taking the offensive. Finally, Group 3, you had a document by Edith Stern about the condition of women, specifically housewives, during the era of the baby boom. And Stern is sharply critical of housewives and their lot in life. She says not only are they treated worse than regular workers because they don't have, for instance, wages, they don't have unemployment insurance, they don't have pensions, they don't have health insurance, and so forth. But they're even worse off than slaves. So it was interesting to hear your responses, and I enjoyed reading especially your response to question 3 when I asked, was Stern a brave crusader for women's liberation, or was she just a whiny complainer? And I think that it was quite interesting. Melody said she thought she was a brave crusader for women's lib, a subject that we'll talk about quite a bit in Module 9. Samantha and Peg were a little less comfortable with saying that, or at least they thought she went a little bit too far in terms of denying the value of housework and the necessity for someone to do housework. But I think you all agreed that times were very different then, and in fact, husbands did not do a lot of the housework or childcare in those days, and so housewives had it a little bit harder, especially at a time when families tended to be so much bigger back then. So anyway, three very interesting, provocative documents. I appreciate the good discussions you had. Let's really go out with a bang on these Module 9 discussions. I think you'll be able to sink your teeth into them. You'll have documents by Martin Luther King and Malcolm X on the very important issue of nonviolence versus self-defense. Should African Americans arm themselves and protect themselves with force if necessary, or should they use the nonviolent method? This is a very crucial issue with a lot of resonance, I think, for today's debate over gun control. So I'm really looking forward to your discussions of that. And the other set of questions, which is on a video in the supplementary videos folder called The Summer of Love, 1967. And I want to apologize a little bit. This video is in the Galileo database, Films on Demand, and it cannot be made full screen. I've tried, I got IT involved to try to fix the problem, but I'm afraid that the screen that you see is going to be kind of tiny when you launch it out of D2L. You'll still be able to see and hear what's going on, but it might be a little annoying. If it bothers you too much, you could always go into Galileo and try to launch it from there so you can go full screen, but just be sure to get the same exact video if you do that. Our discussion chairs for Module 9 will be Taylor for Group 1, Chandler for Group 2, and Samantha for Group 3. So thank you for your service and taking us to the finish line. Finally, very important, your exam. Now, the exam period opens on Thursday, June 24th, and it's going to run through Sunday, the 27th. And once again, unfortunately, if you want to take the exam at the testing center on Darton campus, you need to take it on Thursday because the testing center is closed Friday, Saturday, and Sunday during the summer. However, if you can't come on Thursday to take the test, there are two other options. There's, of course, ProctorU, but if ProctorU is too expensive, please explore the third option of submitting that form, which is in the Start Here folder, to the Department of Online Services to see about getting an off-campus proctor from their list. Now, this will probably cost you something. It may not cost as much as ProctorU, though. So it's a third option for you, but please, if you're going to take that third route, contact them no later than Wednesday morning. They'll need time to set this up. All right? Well, in closing, just want to say I've really enjoyed working with you. I think you've rolled with the punches in this course. I admire very much the way you've persevered through the hectic schedule of A-term and also through the unusual format and the way this course was structured. And so thank you for that. It's been inspiring to see how well you've coped with some of the difficulties and really have won through. And I hope have enjoyed the course and learned some things that you'll find useful, will give you insights as you go about the rest of your lives and as you exercise your duties as citizens. So please, if there's anything I can do for you at any point, feel free to get in touch. But thank you for this experience, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the summer.